All right, deep divers, are you ready to jump back in? Today we're tackling a game that's absolutely exploding in popularity, and for good reason. Get ready to explore the ins and outs of Splinterlands.
And it's more than just a game. It's really its own universe with its own economy, its own community. And trust me, it can be a bit overwhelming at first, even for seasoned gamers.
So let's break it down. What's the big picture here when we talk about Splinterlands?
At its core, Splinterlands is all about strategy and cards. Think collectible card games, but with a digital twist. You've got your cards, which represent different monsters and creatures, each with their own unique abilities and stats.
So you're not just collecting pretty pictures, these cards are your weapons in the arena.
Exactly. And these weapons can get pretty wild. We're talking fire-breathing dragons,
Yeah.
sneaky assassins, powerful mages, you name it. Splinterlands has it. And of course, no army is complete without a leader.
Which is where the summoners come in.
Right. You got it. Summoners are like the generals of your Splinterlands army. They dictate what kind of units you can bring into battle based on their element.
Element. So there's like a whole elemental system at play here.
Oh, absolutely. Splinterlands has 6 main elements.
Yep.
Fire, water, earth, life, death, and dragon plus neutral. Each element has its strengths and weaknesses. So choosing the right summoner is crucial for building a cohesive and powerful team.
Okay, so we've got our cards, our summoners. Where does the actual gameplay happen?
Picture this. You step into the arena, the crowd roars, and you face off against an opponent in a turn-based battle where strategy reigns supreme.
Sounds intense. So how do these battles actually play out? Is it all about brute force, or is there more to it?
Brute force can only get you so far in Splinterlands. Sure, you need strong cards, but the real key is understanding card synergies, anticipating your opponent's moves, and mastering the art of strategic placement on the battlefield.
So there's a lot of depth here. It's not just about who has the most powerful cards.
Not at all. Even a seemingly weak card can turn the tide of battle if used strategically. It's all about outsmarting and outmaneuvering your opponent. And then you've got different battle formats to wrap your head around, like Modern and Wild, each with its own set of rules and card pools.
Modern and Wild, it's like choosing your battleground.
Exactly. Modern lets you battle with cards from the most recent sets, while Wild opens up the entire Splinterlands arsenal. It adds a whole other layer of strategy and keeps the game fresh. But wait, it gets even more interesting. Remember those guilds we talked about?
How could I forget? It sounds like there's more to it than just teaming up with friends.
Oh, much more. Guilds in Splinterlands are like strategic alliances that bring a whole new dimension to the game. We're talking about collaborative gameplay, shared resources, and even their own exclusive battle arenas.
Okay, now you've really piqued my curiosity. Exclusive battle arenas. Tell me more.
Get ready for brawls. Epic guild versus guild showdowns that take place over a 5-day cycle.
5 days? That's like a whole event.
It is. Each brawl is divided into 3 phases: prep, combat, and results. During prep, guilds strategize, they select their teams, they make sure everything's in place. Then the real action begins in the combat phase, where players engage in a series of battles to earn glory for their guild.
So it's not just about individual skill anymore. You're fighting alongside your guildmates for a common goal.
Precisely. And to make those strategic decisions even more intriguing, Splinterlands introduced frays within these brawls. Think of them as specialized battlegrounds within the larger brawl.
Phrase. So there's even more to unpack here.
You bet. Frays give both of you a chance to shine by leveraging your unique strengths for the benefit of the guild.
You've definitely highlighted the depth of Splinterlands. It's clear that strategic thinking and teamwork are highly rewarded in this game. But before we jump into how players actually build their arsenals and climb those leaderboards, let's take a moment to talk about the cards themselves.
You know, it's easy to get caught up in all the excitement of brawls and guilds and everything, but a strong foundation in the basics is going to set you apart in Splinterlands.
Absolutely. You can't wage war without an army. So let's talk about building that card collection. Where do we even begin?
Every great Splinterlands army needs a leader, right?
Makes sense?
And in our case, that leader is a summoner.
Okay. So summoners, they're like the heart of your team.
Think of them as the quarterbacks calling the plays. They determine the entire strategy for your battle.
So choosing the right summoner is make or break.
You got it. First things first, you got to consider their element.
Right, because we were talking about fire, water, earth, all of that.
Exactly. You've got your fire, water, earth, life, death, and dragon. Plus, we can't forget about neutral. Now, each summoner is aligned with 1 or 2 of these elements.
Oh.
And here's the catch. You can only use units in battle that match your summoner's element.
So if I'm going with a fire-breathing dragon, I better make sure my summoner is down with that.
Precisely. Now, dragon summoners, They're a bit unique. They always give you access to dragon units, and then you get to pick another element to work with. It's like a two-for-one deal.
Nice. So you've got options.
Yeah.
Flexibility is key.
Absolutely. Then there's Lux Vega, the only neutral summoner out there. Similar deal. Neutral units plus your choice of one other element. Talk about strategic possibilities.
So many choices. So you've drafted your summoner, you're ready to assemble the rest of your squad. Where do these cards come from? I know you mentioned starter cards earlier.
Ah, yes, starter cards. Everyone gets a set when they begin. It's a mix of commons and rares from the latest card sets, which right now are Chaos Legion and Rebellion.
Yeah.
Great for getting your feet wet. But there's a catch.
There's always a catch.
They don't earn rewards. Not the big ones, anyway.
Okay, so how do we, as aspiring Splinterlands champions, level up from these starter cards? What's the secret?
Now, this is where the real fun begins. Collecting new cards. We're talking about that classic card game thrill.
Ooh, yeah, like opening a fresh pack.
Exactly. Splinterlands has booster packs. Each pack brings that element of surprise. Will you uncover a rare card, a powerful new ability? Who knows?
Yeah.
That's all part of the excitement.
I love that. But let's say you're going for a very specific strategy. You've got your eye on a particular card.
You're speaking my language. That's where the Splinterlands market comes in. This is your trading hub. Buy and sell individual cards, connect with other players. It's all about building that perfect deck.
So we've got options. Embrace the mystery of booster packs, or get strategic and hunt down those must-have cards. Any other tips for building that dream team?
Absolutely. For those who want to test the waters before diving in, renting cards is the way to go.
Renting.
Yep. It's a cost-effective way to experiment with different cards, try out new strategies. You can even experience those high-level cards before you commit to buying them.
That's a really smart strategy, especially for new players who are still figuring out their style.
Exactly. Try before you buy, right?
Exactly. Okay, so let's say we've got a nice little collection going. How do we actually make these cards stronger? Is there like a training montage involved?
Haha. Well, not exactly. But combining cards is definitely where it's at.
Combining, like Voltron style.
Kind of. You merge duplicate cards together and boom, you level them up, boosting their stats, unlocking their full potential.
So it's not just about collecting them, it's about strategically leveling them up.
Exactly. And your summoner's level plays a big role here too.
Oh, so.
Your summoner's level determines how high you can actually level up your units. It's all about balance, you see.
So no point having a super-powered monster if your summoner can't even handle it.
Precisely. It's all about synergy. All right, so we've covered assembling this incredible team, but what about the spoils of war? What awaits those who conquer the arena in Splinterlands?
All right, so we've got our summoners, our hand-picked teams ready to dominate, but what's in it for us? What kind of loot are we talking about here?
The rewards. That's where Splinterlands really shines. It's not just about winning a few battles, it's about rewarding you for strategic play, for dedication. It keeps you hooked season after season.
Season after season. The game operates in seasons.
It does. Think of them like chapters in the ongoing story of Splinterlands. Each season, you've got new challenges, new rewards. And of course, at the end of each season, boom, end of season rewards.
Okay, so you get a little bonus for just participating?
Not just participating, for proving yourself in the arena. The better you do throughout the season, the sweeter those rewards.
What kind of rewards are we talking about here?
Well, we've mentioned glint before, right? That sweet, sweet in-game currency.
Right.
That's a big part of it. But it's not just about the glint. You've got a shot at some pretty awesome loot chests. Think of them like mystery boxes. You never know what you're going to get.
I love a good surprise. So how do we get our hands on these loot chests?
Well, you can snag them through various means, but one way is through a special shop that operates on, you guessed it, glint.
So it's like a whole ecosystem. You earn glint by playing, and then you can use that glint to get even more goodies. I like it. But what about those players who are driven by competition? The ones who live for those top spots on the leaderboard?
Ah, yes, the thrill of the climb. Well, for those competitive spirits, we've got leaderboard rewards. Each season, the top players in both the modern A&D Wild formats, they walk away with some serious bragging rights and a nice chunk of DEC.
DEC. Remind me what that stands for again?
Dark Energy Crystals. It's the game's tradable cryptocurrency. And let me tell you, it's a hot commodity.
So if you're good enough, you can actually earn real-world value from playing Splinterlands.
You got it. Now here's where it gets interesting. You can actually try to conquer both leaderboards,
Yeah.
modern and wild. If you've got the skills and the strategy, you could be walking away with double the rewards.
Double the rewards, double the glory. I like the sound of that. But you mentioned something earlier about a unique reward system specifically tied to ranked battles, something about reward shares.
Ah, yes, our shares. This is where Splinterlands really sets itself apart. It's not just about winning or losing. It's about how you win, the strategy you use, the cards you choose. It all factors in.
So even if you win by the skin of your teeth, you might not be earning as much as someone who really dominated the match.
Exactly. It's all about those smart, strategic moves. Now, the formula for calculating your R shares, it's a bit complex, but essentially it takes into account your player, rating the type of cards you're using, win streaks, even your guild's level. It's all interconnected.
It's like a giant game of chess where every move matters.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, if I'm rocking those starter cards, even if I'm winning, I might be missing out on bigger rewards.
That's a sharp observation. You're right on the money. The R share starter card penalty. It means that the more starter cards you use in a winning battle, the lower your potential R share earnings. It's a clever way to incentivize players to invest in their collections to really explore the full potential of the game.
Makes sense. The game's basically saying, hey, we see you're doing well, but imagine what you could achieve with a truly powerful personalized deck. It's like a little nudge to step up your game.
Exactly. And one last thing to keep in mind about R shares. Your player rating. It's not just a number, folks. It's a huge EE factor in the reward calculation. The higher your rating, the bigger your potential rewards. So those who consistently bring their A game, they're the ones who reap the biggest rewards.
It all comes down to strategy, skill, and a little bit of luck. We've covered a lot of ground today, from battling ferocious beasts to navigating the intricacies of our shares. Splinterlands is a game that truly rewards those who dive deep and embrace its strategic depths.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So there you have it, Deep Divers, another adventure in the books. Remember, whether you're a seasoned veteran or a curious newcomer, Splinterlands has something to offer everyone. So go forth, assemble your dream team, and may your battles be ever in your favor. Until next time, happy gaming.